Let's start. Welcome to our fourth working group meeting, if I'm not counting wrong. There is not too much on the agenda. So first, as already announced in the channel, and SAP internal, we have finally now our own Concourse instance running. Thanks also to everyone who participated in the survey for finding a good domain name. It's now up, runtime deployments.ci CloudFoundry.org. It's running fine. Everyone who is member of the corresponding GitHub team can authenticate and see this Hello World pipeline. And the instance is running on this GCP account, CF Deployments Working Group. Not everyone has access yet. If you need access, then please contact Aftab or me. Sending this to, oh no, that was wrong. Just let me send the meeting to Dave. He wants to join. Invalid meeting ID. Okay, that's odd. Yeah. So Concourse is up and running. That's fine. So we are now ready to migrate the first pipelines. Hi Dave. Welcome.
Hi everyone. Sorry about that. It's weird. There's two different meeting IDs in the calendar invite.
Yes, I think it's two meeting series because it's on the second and fourth Thursday in a month. It's the same mess in Outlook. You need two meeting series to correct.
No, I mean, even in the same meeting, there's one under the location and then there's one in the description of the invite.
That's true, yes. I am not sure why.
I don't know. So I clicked on one and it didn't work and I'm like, panic. And
yes,
then I found the other one. So it's all good.
Chris set this up. I am also a bit confused here.
Yeah,
so
no problem. Just gonna make sure I use the right one. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So with some effort, it's working.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I was just announcing that we now have our running Concourse instance.
Nice.
Yeah. Everything is working fine. Access authorization with GitHub Teams works. Let's Encrypt certificate works. So we are now, GitHub works, so we can store credentials in pipeline credentials. So we are now ready to migrate the first pipelines.
Okay.
While setting up this Concourse instance, we have, of course, found a lot of issues because this was tailored for the Bosch CI Concourse, and we've created a lot of refactoring pull requests. I joined the foundational infrastructure working group meeting, and they are now reviewing the requests, and I hope they merge them soon. We'll also update all the documentation so that hopefully everyone is able to maintain the Concourse. That is basically update the Concourse version and other versions if needed. But in total, this worked fine. All resources can be found in our CF Deployments Working Group GCP account. If you need access, you have to contact either Chris, Aftab, or me, and then we can grant access if anyone needs to access the resources or work with G-Cloud.
Okay.
Yeah, you see we have a Kubernetes cluster with the workload. Here are the Concourse containers running. We have one SQL database, Postgres, and the network resources. And Okay.
So the next step is to start identifying actual test environments we can start migrating over to run in this? Presumably, are we just going to try and run everything in the same GCP project, or do we want to keep things isolated?
You mean the Bosch Bootstrap resources for the test environments? Yeah, that's a good question.
When I joined release integration, they'd gone completely to the other extreme of having one project per Bosch environment. Which on the one hand seemed a bit heavy-handed, but on the other hand, I could see how having everything in a single project would mean that that project would need a lot of resources, or large quotas for resources. And I don't know how easy it would be to get that set up, as opposed to having multiple smaller projects with fewer, with smaller quotas each. But maybe we try with one and see how hard it is to get it up and running in terms of getting the quota the way we need it to be, and then go from there.
So, I mean, keeping everything in one account does not sound too bad, I would say. Possibly it's also easier for billing and all the stuff. But of course, we will quite surely have to adapt quotas if we spin up multiple Bosch environments with several 10, 20, 30 VMs each. Yeah.
We can also discuss, whether we want to have custom ops files for CI that downsize each deployment to make it more manageable from a quota and cost perspective for the foundation, and rather than using the defaults that are in CF deployment.
Yeah, I think David Stevenson wanted to give it a try and ask around it. On the other hand, you need to have a landscape at least as big that the cuts still succeed. So scaling too much down doesn't work either. At least
definitely.
That's right. He contacted me and asked whether the VM sizes are defined, and yes, that would definitely make sense to define. I mean, we do the same here at SAP. We have also for our dev landscapes, we try to use smaller and cheaper VM sizes. The number of VMs, well, of course, there's a lower limit. You can't go lower than 4 API nodes, or you will get problems.
Especially for upgrade testing. If you want to try and test for downtime, we have to have an HA deployment. So
that's how it is. But of course, we can cheaper VMs. Okay. Good.
How do we access CredHub?
Yeah,
this seems like that would be a useful one to be able to get into.
Yes, there is a nice way to access CredHub. It is also, where am I? I am here. It's described here. We will update this README a little bit because it's a bit brief. It's actually 2 lines. There's a helper script, start CredHub CLI. I can try it. It should work. Maybe I have to re-authenticate. Let me check.
So are you basically spinning up a pod in the cluster to talk to CredHub?
Yes. They are spinning up a new pod in the cluster, which contains the CredHub CLI, and then you can start working with CredHub. Let me show. So authenticate, yes. Okay. Now was it start CredHub?
Okay, so that's just running a random named pod, the image.
So, and now Here we are.
Okay, and we're automatically targeted, so that's nice. Okay.
It's all working perfectly fine. Here's our hello world. Secret, so yeah, database is encrypted. Encryption key is backed up in the GCP account in case it gets lost. Database is also backed up. So we have a nice place for storing our credentials.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't have too much on the agenda. Let's quickly go over the action items we defined in the last meetings. There's also not really much. What's still open is, yeah, dedicated way to exchange credentials. Yeah, I mean, okay, we have now a way to store credentials, at least the ones we need for the pipelines. Yeah, exchanging, I don't know, better way than, we don't have anything better yet than Slack, private Slack channel.
Yeah, I mean, CredHub might be a good way. I'm not sure.
Or you store everything directly in CredHub as shown. Yeah, you need to be member of the GCP account. That's then the way for authentication authorization.
Right.
This would also be an option, and then you do CredHub set blah blah until we have everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's SQL backed, which presumably has got G-Cloud backups. So
yeah,
we should be we should be good there. We just need to make sure that we get all of the working group members in here.
We can add members as requested. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess this would be a feasible way. I mean, how many credentials are those? Are we talking about?
I mean, I think the main thing will be the environment information, which CI is going to need. So it's going to be in CredHub anyway. And I think we play it by ear for everything else and just see what comes up that we need to share. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Some keys for S3 buckets for uploading wash releases, for instance.
Right. Yeah.
3 bucket keys and infrastructure access keys for Bootstrap wash.
So maybe it would be good to define a certain path for these, let's say, manually managed keys, so that
right. Yeah.
Everybody knows where to.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay, then let's simply try this way. If everyone is happy with this CredHub solution, then it's fine. Then we don't need any additional tools like LastPass or what we discussed. Yeah. Okay, so we will come to the next point. Yeah, we're still expecting an invitation for a pairing session.
Yes, let's see. We should be at a point where we could cut a release. Yeah, the pipeline is green. And there are, when was the last time we cut a release? It's been we run ship it minor. Yeah, we should cut a release. It's been a few weeks now. So there are quite a few, quite a few release bumps that we can release.
Okay.
So that would be good. Let's think timing wise, was Wednesday, tomorrow's a holiday for you. So it will be, it's planned for early next week.
Next week is fine. Just note that on Tuesday we have our mental health day.
Okay, that's good. Always important.
An additional vacation day for the whole company as compensation for the for the headaches you have in home office. So in June, starting from June 1st would be good. Then people are back in the office.
Okay. Yeah, because we're off Monday.
Yeah.
And then you're off Tuesday. Okay, so maybe next Wednesday?
Yes, okay. June. This is the first, right? Yeah.
I believe so.
And then it would be late for us and early for you. Okay,
Right.
so yeah, well, that's how it is.
Does 8:30 work, or from the time that we have this meeting? So it's what, 5:30 for you?
This should work. Yes.
Okay. It won't. I mean, it's not a long process. So
if we reserve 1 or 2 hours, that should be feasible as a one-time pairing session. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we could maybe even push to 8 to 5 o'clock. I'll check because I see Carsten's here, so we'll see what his availability is, and we'll go from that.
That works with me.
Okay.
Perfect. So then just use our channel here for sending an update, and I will again remind. Yeah, we'll try to find someone from our team who can participate.
Perfect.
Good. Okay. So yeah, then the next step, this is already planned for our next sprint, I think, or so, is then to migrate the pipeline. Yeah, we will have to decide on one easy pipeline which we then try to deploy on on the new concourse, and then also migrate all the credentials.
Right.
We have not yet started with the story, but we will soon. Maybe this one, or maybe
smoke test sounds fine, because that would be then also one of the next things is here to automate the Golang updates for the smoke tests. Yeah. But yeah, it's still,
yeah.
if one is working, the other ones should hopefully then be.
Yeah, I guess this uses also a test environment. So
okay.
Yeah, so the first one is the hardest as usual. Yeah, even if it's a simple pipeline.
But I think is it possible to migrate just the pipeline but keep the test environment as first step where it is today? And then,
yeah, I mean, we just need to migrate the existing credentials from from the Cred Hub for the Relent CI over into the new Cred Hub, and then everything should continue to work.
Okay.
So we can do that, and then we can, as we're doing that, we'll make a note of, these are the credentials we're copying, so this is what we need to change to actually move the environment over into a working group foundation managed project. So this might be I think this would be a good low risk first pipeline to work on.
Okay, and the test environment that is used here, is that a ephemeral one, so one that is set up and tear down?
So this one is using the CATS environment, which is the only long-lived environment we have.
Okay.
So in some ways that makes it easier. In some ways that makes it. I think it should be okay. I'm not sure what happened there. It looks like the pipeline definition was changed. I need to look at that. Or maybe Carsten has context on what changed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
But we'll get that green.
Yeah.
And then that should be good to go.
If it's red, you learn more.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
If it's all green, you don't learn anything. Good. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. So then, yeah, we have a first candidate for migration. That's good. Okay.
The other thing I had on my list that unfortunately I didn't get to because I've been basically out since the last working group meeting with COVID, is that I need to create an issue for the jammy stem cell work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I still have that on my list. I haven't gotten to that yet. I only got back at work Monday. My son came home from school with it a couple of weeks ago.
Oops.
And whereas I was fortunate when my wife caught it back in February and I didn't catch it then, I caught it this time. So not good.
Sooner or later. Yeah.
Yes. Although my daughter still hasn't caught it. So she's doing a lot better, but yeah. But I guess, yeah, like I say, sooner or later it's going to happen. So better to get it out the way. And yeah.
Everyone gets it. Yeah, I also had to take a week off, but yeah, okay, I'm fine.
Yes. Yeah. No lasting damage as far as I can see. So
Yeah, no. Not really, no. Okay. Good. Yeah, finally, project board is updated. Well, yeah, here. So this is still a bit maybe confusing and requiring some double maintenance for all the issues. But I updated it. As you know, we got I think 2 new repositories, some test tooling, which did not belong to anyone. And now this was assigned to our working group. This one here, rel-in CI pools and the CF test helpers.
Yes, CF test helpers is used. It's common tooling used by smoke tests and cats. So yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay,
fine.
good. So we'll also get soon familiar with that one. And this board here contains now all issues of all projects.
Okay.
We don't need to go through them one by one. I checked them, updated a few things, and yeah, I think there's nothing really urgent. We should maybe create one for the Go 1.18 update. Yeah. Okay.
I have one question, not directly related to the project setup, but do you know if there's a validation running as part of CF deployment processes that switches off the V2 API? There's an experimental ops file in CF deployment to do that, but is it tested with CF8, of course?
Maybe the experimental environment then, if it's an experimental ops file.
Right. I'm just looking. Disable V2 API.
Did you say, Stefan, there is an ops file, or was
there's an ops file? That's something I know, but I don't know whether it is actually tested and if cuts run.
The README, if you look at the README in that directory, if you scroll down, it lists all of the ops files, and there's a column on the right that says whether it's used in any of our pipelines.
Ah, cool.
So if this is listed in here, which I hope it would be.
V2. Yes.
Says no. It is
says no. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can add it. It's very easy to add to the experimental environment, which is normally what we would do. Given that it's an experimental ops file, that's where we would test those. So it's definitely possible to add to that. I don't know what that would mean in terms of whether there are a subset of cats that we would expect to start failing if we did that.
Yeah, that's exactly the interesting question. Yeah, to find out. I mean, it can only run with CF8. That's clear. CFCLI version 8.
Right.
But then I would expect that all the cats are actually succeeding. The reason why I'm asking, I'm currently working on an SAP internal plan how to get rid of the V2 API to disable it in our landscapes. Of course, it's a long-term plan, 23 somewhere, but these are the questions that come up.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's definitely possible to add. We can go through that process on Wednesday as part of our pairing session.
Yeah.
You know, and work on the pipeline and get that running, and then switch to like cutting a release in that while it's running, and then we'll get some feedback by the end of the session, maybe. Although it does take quite a long time for the experimental deploy, so that. Yeah, that may not happen, but we'll definitely get it going.
Okay.
We add that to the list for pairing.
Good. So, okay, so this is definitely enough input for us to fill our next sprint. Yeah.
Perfect.
Anything else?
No, I think
questions, comments, suggestions.
No, I think let's see to get some pipelines and then environments moved, and then
yes,
we'll get in contact.
It starts rolling, exactly.
When it starts rolling, yeah, we'll get in contact again, and then yes, things will evolve. Yeah. Okay. I checked all the issues on the other projects, and I did not find anything really urgent. So yeah.
Okay.
Should be all fine.
Sounds good. I will send out a list of topics for next week for our pairing session. And should I just drop that in the working group Slack channel?
Yes.
Okay.
Just drop it here. You see there's not too much traffic yet on the channel, so that's fine.
Right.
If you, yeah, if you put it here, and yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. If there's nothing else.
No, I think we can let you go enjoy your evenings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
Super long weekend. Yeah, let's enjoy.
Definitely.
And see you next week.
All right.
See you.
See you.
Good. Then have a nice day.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Ciao.